Welcome to this short video from OpenText. In this, we will discuss how and when to collect diagnostics following an enterprise server issue such as an application abend or a server not responding, etc., and how to make those diagnostics available to OpenText support. So in order to collect the diagnostics from a server or region that's running in enterprise server, we use the mfesdiags script. So in this session, we'll show how to run the mfesdiags script that's used to collect the information pertaining to that specific server or region. So the questions we really want to ask are, what is the mfesdiags script required for? Where do we get the mfesdiags script from? When should it be run? And this is a critical part of the process. How is it run? Which is also a very important part of the process. What data is collected and how can we configure what data is collected? And what do we do with the diagnostics once they have been collected? So to be able to diagnose a problem, and in particular if that error occurs in a server that's running in production, it's absolutely vital to capture and provide as much information as possible about the state of that region, not only at the time of the issue, but also what was occurring leading up to the issue. So this includes capturing dumps, traces, logs, the contents of various configuration files and directories, as well as output from a number of operating system tools. So the mfesdiags diagnostic collection script has been written in order to collect this information automatically. The script's not provided with Enterprise Developer, but can be downloaded from the Marketplace link shown on the screen. But it's also a very good idea to ask the person managing the support case to ensure that you have the latest version. So the next question, and this is a very important question, is when should mfesdiags be run? So mfesdiags really should be run immediately there is an issue, particularly if a server is failing and the application is not running. The natural response to a production server issue is to recycle the server, and of course that has to be done as quickly as possible in order to get the business application back and running again in production. But before the server is recycled, the mfesdiags script needs to be run in order to capture those logs and dumps and the state of the system at the time of the issue, because much of that information will most likely be lost once the server has been recycled. Once this has been run and the information has been collected, the server can then be restarted. So the mfesdiags script really should be run from the machine where Enterprise Server is running the region from. This can be a Windows or Unix, Linux environment, and the person who runs the mfesdiags script needs to be logged in as the user who started the Enterprise Server region. On Windows, the mfesdiags.cmd script can be run from Windows Explorer or from a command prompt. We suggest running from an Enterprise Developer command prompt, and there's an example on how to open an Enterprise Developer command prompt on the next slide. When running the mfesdiags.cmd, you can specify the region name when activating the script, or if the region name's not specified, you will be prompted for that during the running of the script. It's important that the process user ID or process owner user ID or the user ID that started the region is the one used to execute the diagnostic scripts to ensure that such things as the cas dump, etc. are generated. Now, from the command line also, you can set such things as mfes_sister, which can manually point to the system directory if you're not running from an Enterprise Developer command prompt. And scripts can also be run from the region start and stop scripts by setting mfes_no prompt. And the script can be copied into any folder, but just as long as you have access to or know where that script is. As mentioned previously, the mfesdiags mfesdiags.cmd script can be run from an enterprise developer command prompt. So this is just a standard DOS prompt with the enterprise server environment wrapped in. To open an enterprise developer or enterprise server command prompt, go to Windows Start, then from the Windows program scroll down to Micro Focus Enterprise Developer, and from the sublist select Enterprise Developer Command Prompt, and you'll select either a 32 or 64-bit command prompt depending on which mode the server is running in. Now, on the screenshot on the right, I've opened an Enterprise Developer Command Prompt for 32-bit. I've changed to the directory of the location of the mfesdiags.cmd script, and I've simply typed in the command to run that script. And as an example, I've also shown here that to run the script to collect the diagnostics for a server called ESJCL, you would simply run the command mfesdiags.cmd space ESJCL, and it will collect the diagnostics for that specific region. But if you don't specify the region name, then it will be requested. And this must be specified as the diagnostics are being collected specifically for one enterprise developer region. And you can see at the bottom of the screen, after it's done its initialization, it asks for the region name, and unless that's specified, the script won't run any further. So once the mfesdiags.cmd script has been run on Windows, the resultant data will be collected and stored in a location that's specified when you actually run the script. So the diagnostics file will be collected under /temp/mfesdiag.dir, but the actual snapshot directory is then used to collect those files for this run, is then created in a subfolder to that directory, as shown in the example on the screen. So that directory, the snapshot directory, then needs to be zipped and attached to the support case if one's open, or sent to the engineers requesting that information. So what are the system files collected when we run mfesdiags.cmd? Obviously, probably the most important is the console log, which contains running information on the actual server as it's being run. We've then got the log files, journal logs, any CAS dump or auxiliary traces, the MF support info file, which is a snapshot of the system on Windows, for example. On Unix, that same file is created from the mf support command. Then you've got several other configuration and build tag files, as well as any trace diagnostic data sets such as CASOX.TA and CASOX.TB, which are alternating auxiliary trace files, etc. And any system append dumps, again, CASDump-A, CASDump-B, etc. So these are the files, these are just some of the files that are collected. So further information that's collected from mfesdiags, such things as the resource definition files, the directory server log files, directory server config files, any additional configuration files such as mfserver.dat, mfclient.dat, the consolidated trace configurations, cobconfig, extended file handler, the xtfh config files. Also, it shows a list of system processes running, a list of network connections, any Windows services information, Windows system and application event logs. And if you're running this on Linux or Unix, you would also show such things as shared memory areas and semaphores, and a list of files that are open at the time. We will look at Linux in a separate video. So what do we do with the diagnostics once they've been collected? So the information is then used by our engineers to diagnose the issue and try and establish the cause. It may require a configuration change, it may require a fix, it may require some code changing, etc., etc. However, once that's been achieved and the issue has been resolved, those diagnostics are no longer kept on our environment. Thank you very much for watching this video.